So, like many, hopefully all of you, I love the earth and I love nature. And for me, that is one of the most compelling reasons why addressing climate change is something that is very important to me. And also, as a person of faith, climate change is something that is important to me because it's about how I treat the world that we all depend on. And so the majority of Americans actually also care about climate change. But what we know is that most of us don't care enough to do what we need to do to get the solutions that we need in the time and the scale that are required. And so what I'm going to talk with you about today is how by connecting on common values with the people who we all want to reach and to engage, we can do great things by inspiring others to action. And so I'm going to share a story about a faith partner who I work with at Eco America. But what I'm going to share is actually applicable to anybody. So I hope you all will get some good information that you'll be able to use with the people who you work with. So the organization that I work with, Eco America, is a national nonprofit that seeks to build engagement and support for climate solutions across America. And we do this by working across 5 sectors. I head up the faith program, but we also work with health partners, community partners, higher education, and business partners. And we do this by taking an approach of providing research-based communications and messaging tools, providing direct support to our partners, providing partner programs, and networking and convening opportunities for our partners to come together. And I wanted to share with you all that I took a few of our resources and I put them out on the table where the water is, and my goal would be to have them all gone because I'm heading over to the Science March and I don't want to carry them. So please help yourself. And I know there's not enough for everybody in the room here, so do go to ecoamerica.org and get more. And there's our communications guidance called 15 Steps, and there's also our most recent mental health impacts of climate change report, which we co-authored with a number of our health partners out there. And so the approach that we take focuses on connecting on common values with the people who we work with and highlighting the benefits of climate solutions in our daily lives. And what we find are that these 2 core things are vital to taking climate change, to change it from more of a public interest that maybe only applies to environmentalists and other people who, frankly, many people might not affiliate with, to making it what we call a personally relevant public interest. And the first thing that is important to connecting people to climate in this way is showing them that climate matters to them, making it salient. And it's sad, but now more and more people are understanding that climate matters to them because people are experiencing floods and droughts and fires and storms. And these aren't positive things, but they are raising awareness and attention of climate. The second thing that's very important is that people understand that there are proven solutions, and also solutions that will benefit their daily lives. And highlighting those benefits is going to be very important in your work in engaging others. The third is agency. Climate change is the one issue where all of us can do something about it every single day of our lives in everything that we do. So highlighting we all have the power to be part of the solution is extremely important to getting buy-in for solutions. And the moral imperative, connecting on common values with your audience. It's not about changing their values. It's about showing what matters most to them is how solving climate solutions can help benefit what people care most about. And so I want to tell you the story of a partner that I've been privileged to work with, the African Methodist Episcopal Church. It's a big denomination with over 2 million members and 7,000 congregations. They just celebrated their 200th year anniversary in 2016. And as part of their history, they've always been a social force for the things that are most important in their day. And the leadership recognized that they knew about climate, they knew it was impacting what they loved and cared about, their communities, their children, their brothers and sisters in Africa, whose food security was being impacted, the livelihoods of the families of their members in Africa by drought and by all kinds of things. And so the leadership knew that they wanted to address this issue with more intentionality and more depth and bring the full force of the church to this issue like they had brought to other issues. And so they approached Eco America to partner with us to do that for the denomination. And one of the results was that last July, the denomination passed for the first time in their 200-year history a resolution wholly dedicated to climate change, which included the values of why they cared about it and what they were going to do about it, which included things like working to support the Paris Agreement and all kinds of things. And they also committed to using the full force of their social networks and their advocacy powers. They made it one of their top 3 issues in the 2016 election, for example, but they're continuing their great work. So what I want to do now is show a video that they showed, the leadership showed, to a gathering of 10,000 other leaders right before they passed, within the church, right before they passed, with unanimous consent, this resolution. So this will be them talking to their leaders.
I think the important thing, which always governs me, is social action.
The AME Church has always been on the cutting edge for our people, and this is one we have to be on the cutting edge for.
Unclean air adversely affects us in many ways, particularly respiratory problems. You see that more in people.
Now hurricane season is longer, and the hurricanes are coming more strongly.
Since we are in the cities, we have a shortage of water, and most of our dams are in the southern part of the country, where there is low rainfall.
We've had floods in places that have never had flooding problems. Many of our churches are finding that foundations are being undermined and wiped away.
Environmental racism is one of the things that impacts us, disproportionately impacts people of color and Black folks more than others.
Pollution really is the hardest on people who are in low economic areas. The AME Church has several unifying agendas. This is one of those human rights agendas that brings us together. Everybody deserves to have fresh and clean water, fresh and clean air.
I don't believe you can separate care for the environment from faith.
As people, we're involved in the everyday activities of the world, and so whatever happens in society, whatever happens in the environment, that affects us.
We have an awesome responsibility. Every facet of our church life has got to help people to become consciously aware of the environment.
First thing we need to do through preaching, teaching, and other means is to really inform and motivate our people.
There are many AMEs who are well positioned to do something about it and to have a voice in the decisions that government happens to be making that will affect climate change.
More than 51% of the African American community is in church on Sunday. We have a perfect opportunity to teach people how to green up their homes by demonstrating how we green up our sanctuaries and practice good habits.
I don't see why we couldn't have a Climate Change Sunday, where we would have a litany read in congregations, where we would talk about climate change, give information.
We teach it in church, the Sunday schools, they do it. When we have their quizzes, some of those questions are on environment, so that they are aware and can impact on the other children that don't go to church.
Lift those hands all over the building.
Blessed Tomorrow has already gathered partners who have history with this topic, who have rich stories to tell about what it means to come together.
I I'm not only excited about it, I'm also determined to do all that I can to see that this works.
So this is why I'm optimistic, because we have great leaders like the AME Church, like you all in the room, and each of us is passionate about something. And by connecting to those common values and focusing on the benefits of solutions, we can do great things together. Thank you.